Hey guys, I'm Jessi, and today I have a book haul. I haven't been shopping a whole lot, so this is pretty cumulative, but it is also pretty big. So we're gonna try to get through this quickly as possible because we all know my videos are kind of long and ranty, but I'm really excited to show you all the books that I've picked up, some for my birthday, gifts for myself, things like that. So we're just gonna go ahead and get into it because we have a few to get through and I don't want this to be a 17-year video. First, we have my fairy loot books. I have the YA and adult. I did switch over to the YA adult combo book only. Honestly, great decision because I don't need all this stuff. So the first one is Sing Me to Sleep, and this book is so pretty. I have no idea what this book is, what it's about. I'm assuming it's something nautical because it looks nautical, but it's really pretty. And I think it has a really pretty, like dust jacket under. So excited. I don't know if this is the YA or the adult because it comes together now. Then we also got Shanghai Immortal, and this is one that I'm super excited for. It was one of my most anticipated releases. So I'm really excited to get to this. Again, stunning edges and just so pretty, right? Like, I love hardbacks that have stuff on them as opposed to like the dust jacket. Like, I don't need a dust jacket. Hot take, I don't need a dust jacket. I also picked up A Sleight of Shadows. This is the highly anticipated, for me at least, long-awaited sequel to An Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. I love An Unkindness of Magicians. I thought it was fantastic, and it works great as a standalone. So I'm really curious to see how we continue the story, what elements they've added in there. Like, I'm very curious because it worked really well as a standalone. So I'm curious. And it looks really cool next to it because the first one's like really like very light gray, almost white. And this one's like dark black with the white. So they look really good next to each other on the shelf. I also ordered myself a couple signed copies from Forbidden Planet, and the first one is Under the Whispering Door in paperback. I did not physically own this. I have read it. I love it. Am I supposed to keep these little stickers on because they really annoy me? I think I'm gonna try to get them off the Forbidden Planet signed, but I haven't yet. But yeah, e-signed. I really liked this book. It's a really sweet standalone story, and I love TJ Klune's books. I also picked up another one of my anticipated releases that I never got around to, and that is Colorbound. I haven't really heard anyone else really talk about this book, but I was excited to see it on Forbidden Planet. Pretty inexpensive, especially for a signed edition, so I had to grab it. I think there's actually a sequel out now, but I'm not totally sure. It says, a man marked by magic, a woman marked by her past. And it sounds really cool. I think it's in one of my anticipated releases. Yeah, if you've read this, let me know. Moving on, the final book that I got that has come in already, the other three were pre-orders, so they're not here yet, from Forbidden Planet, is The Malevolent Seven. Again, another highly anticipated release, and I got the signed hardback from Forbidden Planet. So very excited. This one sounded really, really cool. Very meta, very like the bad guys, you're following the villains, I think, and it sounds really cool. Like, I don't know, and that cover, it just looks fun. Though every time I talk about this, I think The Maleficent Seven, which is another one that's very similar, I think, in tone, just like with the whole like following the villains, which I read and loved. So then I picked up a book while I was in Asheville on vacation, and I went to the Popular Mons tour with my husband. We saw Falling in Reverse and Ice Nine Kills, two of my favorite bands. I love them. They are fantastic live. And while we were in Asheville, I checked out the Battery Park Book Exchange. I put down a short if you want to check that out. It's basically this cute little brunchy spot with champagne drinks, and it's a used bookstore. And I had to pick something up, while we were in there, of course. They had a very minimal sci-fi fantasy section, but I did find something that I'd never heard of that sounded really cool, and that is Hawkspur. I've never heard of this. I really don't know much about what it is, so if you've read this or heard of it, let me know. But it sounded really cool. It's by Holly Liesel, and it sounded really cool. I'll kind of read you the synopsis off the thing. It says, stolen away from their families, they are slaves. Women with no names and no futures. Every moment of their day is controlled by the avatars of the stone eyes. Obsidian, emerald, Raxian, ruby, wind crystal, sapphire, sugar, sunspar, and tiger eye. And the most powerful of them all is Hawkspur, the eyes of war and time. Kings and despots come to her to know their futures. She wades in the river of time, pulling apart its sticky threads to arrange the world to her satisfaction. But she, too, was plucked from her home, chosen by the eyes to live in service to them, as much a slave now as she ever was. And with her sight into past and future, she can see the secrets of the eyes and the evils of the eyes. Before the death of Hawkspur, another must be chosen by the eyes. But the Avatar has her own plans and chooses a slave for her courage and rebelliousness rather than her dedication to the goals of the eyes. This slave is put to trial, but time after time is protected by unseen forces. Once she has swallowed the bitter liquid and has her eyes pulled from her head and replaced with the eyes of Hawkspur stone, she can slip into the streams of time and use her own ends to free the slaves once and for all and destroy the eyes, even if it means destroying herself in the process. I mean, it sounds really cool, right? I had absolutely never heard of it, so I picked it up. I also picked up a physical copy of the Frugal Wizard's Hand Guide for Surviving Medieval England. I read the ebook. I didn't back the Kickstarter. I did read the ebook. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite, but I had a good time. It was fun. So because I didn't love it, I decided I didn't want to spend the extra money to order the really pretty Dragon Steel edition like I did for Tress. And I'll probably do for Yumi. But I still wanted to own a physical copy of it, so I picked it up from like Barnes & Noble and just like this regular edition, and yeah, happy to have it on my shelves. Then I picked up The Invisible Library. This is the first book in the Invisible Library series. I had picked up a couple of the other books from my used library sale, but they didn't have book one, and I really wanted book one. It sounded really cool. Book about books, about librarians, about stories. It says, Irene is a professional spy for the Mysterious Library, a shadowy organization that collects important works of fiction from all different realities. Most recently, she and her assistant Kai have been sent to the alternate London. Their mission, retrieve a particularly dangerous book. The problem, by the time they arrive, it's already been stolen. This is a pretty long-standing series, I believe. There was quite a few books in it, and it sounds really cool. I also got a copy from an author, and that is Echoes of War. I believe this is a self-published book. Super excited to get to it. Y'all know I've been really enjoying reading, hyping, talking about self-published fantasy this year. It's kind of my whole, goal for the year is to read more self-pub and hype them here and on my website. So definitely excited for this. It says, it's the distant past. A boy, Daniel, awakens in a temple of the sun god Shamash with no memory of his origin or identity. Befriended by servant boys, he discovers one of the high priests is hungry for power and hell-bent on revenge. Allied with the Babylonian courtiers, temple priestesses, dissonant foreign powers, and Assyrian crown prince, Daniel fights alongside armies to stop the twisted priest from solidifying control over the empire. Dark dreams and visions of crows awaken Daniel to the fact that he is no mere orphan. He possesses supernatural powers that can save both his friends and the empire, but at a terrible cost. Who is Daniel really? Will he use his powers for good, or will they twist him into the same monster his enemy has become? It sounds really cool. The cover is gorgeous. Like I said, self-published fantasy has been my jam this year. Then we have a book that was sent to me for my birthday by Chelsea Dow. So thank you so much, Chelsea. I'll link her channel down below. Check her out. She's fantastic. And that is House of Hollow. I've been wanting to read this since it came out. It's super hyped and like the cover just gives me those creepy, awesome vibes and I'm here for it. I know it's a standalone. And it's just, I'm excited for it. And I always just appreciate so much when people send me, you know, an author copy or a birthday gift. And it means so much. And thank you so much. I also picked up Into the Glades. And this is by Laura Sebastian. This is a middle grade fantasy. What's funny is I bought it for my daughter and did not realize we already owned it. So now we have 2 copies. But I was really excited about this one specifically because it is set in the Everglades. And I live in Florida and not like beachy Florida. Like I'm not far from Orlando, but like I live in more rural Florida and the Everglades, like it's a thing. And I'm very excited because I was like, what? Something set where like in a place that I know and know well? Yes, please. And I thought my daughter would like it, which, we already have it. So it came in like one of her Owl Crate Juniors, I believe, a while back. So now we have 2 copies so we can read it together. Like that's kind of cute. We're going to keep both copies for a while anyway. I picked up a few sequels and one of those is All of Our Demise. This is the sequel to All of Us Villains, I believe is what it was called. I really enjoyed the first book. It's like a really cool fantasy-esque, Hunger Games-esque magic tournament to the death. And I needed to know what happened after the end of the first one. So I was very excited to get to this. Then I also picked up The Dragon's Promise, which is the sequel to 6 Crimson Cranes, which is another one that I absolutely loved and never continued on with the series yet. So I'm really excited. Yes, it doesn't match my really pretty Fairy Loot edition, but whatever. It was, I didn't really see the need to spend that money. Honestly, because I like matching editions, but it really doesn't like, it's not my pet peeve, honestly. Like half my shit don't match, so whatever. But yeah, I honestly didn't expect it to not have a dust jacket, so I really liked that. I ordered these online. Yeah, it's just the hardcover. So that was kind of cool. Unexpected. Sticking with sequels, another one that I picked up actually more so for my daughter is A Tangle of Spells. And this is, I think, the 3rd book in A Pinch of Magic. She read the first 2 and loved them. So I was like, I'm going to surprise her and get this one. So she doesn't know I got it for her yet. It's a really cute middle grade fantasy series. And my 10-year-old has been loving it. I'm sure I need to pick it up and read it as well. But yeah. Then the final sequel I believe that I picked up is Heart of the Sun Warrior, the sequel to Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I love Daughter of the Moon Goddess, and I have read this. I read it on ebook, and I really enjoyed it. This is one of my favorite duologies right now. I thought it was well done, well written. There were some issues, like the 2nd book wasn't perfect. There was some pacing stuff, but honestly, I like how it turned out. I like kind of the resolution at the end, kind of the like twisty surprise, and I just thought it was a good time. Just so you know, I also picked up a book for my son, and that is Quest Kids Dragon Pants of Gold. He's been a massive reader lately, which I love to see. He's only 6. He's going into 1st grade. He's reading at like a 2nd grade level by the end of kindergarten. So that was really cool. So like I have to keep him working on it. So I do have them like reading during the summer because there's like that Barnes & Noble thing that they do every year where they fill out, they're like, I read 6 books, and they do like a little reading log, and then they take it in at the end of summer and they can pick a free book from Barnes & Noble, which I think is a really cool program for kids. So if you have kids, it's still open. You can still do it. Just Google like Barnes & Noble free summer reading book. Such a cool thing. I wish I did that for adults. Like, come on now. But they get to pick like their book based on their age and their reading level. So I picked him up this to add. He really likes like the Dogman books and Cat Kid, and those are like graphic novels, which we have so many of. So I picked this one up to kind of push him just a little bit because while it is still that like graphic novel-esque, It's got more words. Like, it's still like graphic novel-y, but it's got more words. It's like a transition, I feel like, and I know he's gonna be excited. We're getting close, I promise. I also picked up this chunk, the first binding. I have heard mixed things about this. I've heard fantastic things, and then I've heard people hate it. So I had to pick it up for myself and see. I've heard a lot of people compare it to Name of the Wind, I believe, and I have not yet read that. Don't come for me. I own it, I think. But I haven't read it just because I don't know when I want to prioritize it, because I'm pretty sure the third book is like never coming out. And there's too much other stuff that I want to get to, right? That I know that there's a finished or that is finishing. But I heard so many good things about this that I had to pick it up. Like, and oh, I didn't expect it to be that big. Is it big print? Like, oh no, it's not. It's not like the extra large print. That's normal tiny print. Oh my. Because I did that once before. I ordered the third book in the David Bod series, and it came in and it was like freaking like massive. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? I accidentally ordered the like extra large print, which fine for me because, you know, you gotta see anyway. But I was like, man, why is it so big? I'm like, did I do that again? But nope, this is just the size of the book. Freaking huge. Going from massive to BB, I picked up Nettle and Bone. I've heard so many good things about this. I don't think I've heard anybody dislike it. I have never read anything by T. Kingfisher, but I've heard so many good things about their writing that I'm very excited to get to it. I have been wanting more short standalones because I read so many large series and like chunky books that sometimes you just need a brain break and you just want something short and contained and done. So I'm excited and I've heard great things about it. And the last one is another really short story. I think this might actually be a novella, and that is The Keeper 6 by Kate Elliott. This was highly anticipated for me. I know it is about a mom, so that's all I needed to know, and it sold me like badass rogue mom in space trying to save her son. That's all I needed. So I'm really excited to get to this little novella. I'm sure I'll fly through it and love it and let you know my thoughts. All right. Well, that is my book haul that I have accumulated over the past like month or so, 2 months. So yeah, let me know if you've read any of these, your thoughts on them. Some of these I have read already, some of them I haven't. But yeah, let me know, especially if you've read Hawkspur, because I'm really intrigued and I've heard 0 people talk about it. That and Collarbound. Those are the 2 that I'm like, I haven't heard like really anything. So let me know. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. My name is Jessie and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.